We haven't even officially started yet, and I've already got paint on me. Ah, welcome in everybody. Soul Commodore back at you again. Here, doing some more of this painting. Today, uh, it is my plan to finally get this piece done, and then once it's done, I'm gonna take a short break just to kind of like readjust myself in here. Um, and then I'm going to show you all how you go about, once I study this camera, how you go about stretching a piece on a stretcher that's already completed. Because a lot of times you'll stretch a painting before you even paint on it. This time around, though, I'm going to show you my usual process, which is I paint everything first, and then afterwards. Uh, okay, so I'm missing people here. First of all, hello, Base Windu. How's it going, L? Jess, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome on in. We come with hellish intentions. I like that. I like that. Oh, you were working on art too. Nice, nice. How did your stream go? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Soul Commodore. I am an artist, I guess. I That's a fantastic duck. Long duck indeed. Um, I'm an artist who plays video games sometimes. We've been working on this piece for a couple of weeks now. Um, It's eventually going to be hanging in our living room. This is a personal project, not part of any sort of exhibition that I'm putting together. That'll be the next art thing we do. But if any of you need to go take a bathroom break, you need some food, you need to go take care of some stuff in your personal life, please feel free to do that. You don't have to stick around. I appreciate y'all being here though, and thank you very much for the raid. Also, since they're in here, I gotta shout out two other people. Gotta shout out Base Windu. Fantastic dude, extremely entertaining streamer, has a very wonderful community, and is probably the best Fall Guys player I've ever seen. Um, so if you have the chance, please go check out Base Windu. A very lovely person. Um, and I gotta shout out the brothers and the sisters and all of the other people of any non-binary type. I gotta shout out everybody, but it's nice to see. How do I put this without like angering? Well, I don't think I'll anger anybody here. It's nice to see some people who share my complexion, doing well in areas like this. It's very very nice. Jam Arclay, thank you very much for the follow. And one other person I got to shout out is another fantastic artist, much like Jess, Laya Lurian, currently doing a some commissioned work. Very very talented artist, very hardworking artist. Really enjoy his community as well, and y'all should go check out L. Fantastic artist, does things digitally. That I was just saying the last stream that I was over there, that his command of like doing like electrical stylings within the work is just très bien, because I have trouble doing that. So so yeah, just shout outs to all y'all. Now let me catch up with chat and then we'll get painting. Because I know that's what y'all are here for. Um, Dal, you thought this was a game? Well, it isn't everything a game. Um, but glad to hear that. I am doing well, Windu. I am doing well. Thank you, thank you. Um, Doing art this afternoon. Just started duckifying Mooch's 1896 summer. Oh, very nice. That's cool. That's cool. Well, Windu is too bad. I gave you a shout out anyway. And of course, L. Sorry to hear, Al, about the internet exploding though. That's that's too bad. That's too bad. Do you want to play a game? It seems okay, but it's kind of unstable internet-wise. I don't mind taking it early into the workday. Fair enough. All right, let's go to painting because as I was explaining, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna finish up this painting. There might be a few like small little touch-ups I do after the fact, but you don't have to worry about those. It'll just be like fixing like little things that I find wrong. It won't be any grand sweeping changes that I make to the canvas. And then I'm gonna take like a short like minute break just to rearrange the room. Then I'm gonna show y'all how you stretch a canvas that already has paint on it. Um, because a lot of people, if they stretch their own canvases, um, they either come pre-stretched or you stretch them without any paint on it. Um, but I'm going to show you that you can actually stretch paintings with paint on it already, and it won't hurt the paint. So, yeah. Oh, Windu, you asking questions and stuff is never a distraction. Never a distraction. Man, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is it's in my top three favorite games of all time. So we are actually just about to go into my favorite chapter of the game the next time we play. So I'm very excited. I also have to apologize to y'all who are new here. For whatever reason, my webcam, which is not what I'm using on to like show the painting, but my webcam is extremely laggy. I don't know why. It's the webcam that came with the computer. I don't know why, but we just gotta kind of roll with it. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate that. I do need to de-stream. Been staring at this monitor way too long. Oh, please, by all means, please go take care of yourself. Uh, the no one is obligated to stick around after a raid. So thank you very much for the lurk, Jess. Really appreciate it. And of course, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Thank you very much for the raid. Thank you for the lurk. I hope the rest of your night goes fantastically. Ellipse, I did. I went and got light bulbs. How you doing? Yes, the last stream I did, which was the Paper Mario stream, I was in the dark because my bulbs in my room burnt out, and moving into a new place, moving into a new house, I forgot to get light bulbs. So we are now bathed in light. Pretty sure attendance is mandatory with this stream. Attendance is never mandatory. Sometimes I'm not even here for my streams. You know how there's a paint and sip? We need to Soul to do a paint and sing. I mean, I'm down for that. All right, so what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna do a few more clouds up here. Um, and then we're gonna do some small details around these trees. We're gonna finish up this pole, do some more details around this tree, and then the painting will, for all intents and purposes, be done. So let me move the camera up a bit. My apologies to those of you who might get a little motion sick. I'm gonna try and steady. See, basically, I had this camera extender, like this phone holder that was very graciously donated by one of my wife's cousins, who you all know. Well, he's been in here before as Budabot. Um, so shout outs to Budabot if he's here. But he very graciously donated that, and it's hanging on a lamp that was given to me by another one of my wife's cousins. So the cousin's doing work. All right, so we're gonna make some brown, some dark brown, because these clouds are, of course, reflecting the light. It didn't skip a whole bunch of songs. Your setup is a jury rig of goodwill and gifts. That's right. That's right. That's how my setup is built with love and a little bit of frustration, but mostly love. It did just skip ahead. Hold on. We got to start this playlist right at the beginning. Come on now. All right. So, like I said, we're going to reflect the here. These clouds are going to reflect the light. because they are rain clouds after all. So they're sitting low in the sky and just picking up all the light from down below. I'm going to fill some in up here, right around the top of this pole, just like so. But yeah, no, my wife was talking to her cousin at like shortly after we moved in here, and her cousin, who was like doing some moving herself, asked it. There he is, Buddhabot. Hey, thank you for the glug glug. I'll take a sip. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Um, so yeah, my wife was talking to her cousin, and the cousin who was doing some moving herself was like, "Do you guys need a lamp or anything?" And she was like, "Oh, TJ needs a lamp." Hence, the nice mix of light that we have in here. I'm all right. Hope you're having a good one. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you for keeping me hydrated. I was talking about you earlier, how you provided the stand that my phone is attached to help showcase all this, which has been a godsend. Man, that was loud. Guy on the motorcycle. Which I mean, I guess motorcycles are supposed to be loud, but I did summon it. It's one of my many talents. Now, something that I'm gonna mention, other than if any of you get the stream title reference, you get a cookie, a virtual cookie. Um, which I don't know. You'd have to be a fan of like 70s soul singing groups to maybe get it. But anyway, um, um, earlier when I was talking about L, I said he was very talented and very hardworking, and I think that's a distinction that I think is important um, because there's a lot of things that take a lot of talent, but sometimes people I find write off your accomplishments in the field that you are working in as simply you having talent without mentioning the hard work that goes into having that talent, right? Um, and I think it's very important to acknowledge the hard work that someone puts into learning a craft and applying it, and you know, that goes for everything from visual arts to sports to streaming. Like it's hard work to do what it is that you do and excel at it. And I think saying that it's only talent, and I know a lot of people who say like, "Oh man, you're so talented." They don't mean that it's only talent, but I think it's important to make the distinction, because there's a lot of hours that go into people perfecting the thing that they want to do, you know. So I always try to make that distinction personally. Just a few more highlights around that tree. I think that's good. I think that's good. Okay, so that's our sky done. So now what we're gonna do, since we're doing the sky, is I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush and do a lot of small little leaf details to really bring out the definition of this tree. Where's my small brush? There it is. Actually, both this tree and this one over here. So basically, we're going to do small little brush strokes to really bring out the outline of this tree. I appreciate the distinction. I do still think a lot of people who say you're talented are dismissing the idea of the work because they're not talented, so they can never be as good as you or whatever. But the fact is, anyone who puts in the work will learn it. Fair, fair. But yeah, yeah, like I do try my best to make sure that I distinguish the work that someone puts into their craft, whatever that craft may be, you know. So yeah, we're just putting little marks here just to kind of bring out a silhouette that looks a little bit more like it could be leaves. Because right now it's just kind of an amorphous black mess. I just realized that you can't really see that because my body's blocking it. There we go. Oh, also, Ellipse, if you're in chat, I hope you're feeling better. Excuse me while I recover from my spit going down the wrong way. Oh man. If I can learn math, Joe Schmo can learn perspective. Don't do a die. Don't worry, I didn't do a die. Just my body decided that it didn't want that spit to be where it was. It was trying to expel it. There we go. This is coming together pretty well. I'm gonna fill in a little bit more in here. Make that a little more solid. There we go. So we got pretty much good definition on this tree now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and kind of smooth out any of the super egregious brush strokes or any like globs, of paint. Just because I don't want that particular look in this painting. I don't like that particular look in a lot of my own paintings. I love seeing a lot of texture in other people's paintings. But myself, I try to get rid of a lot of the paint texture if I can. I don't know particularly why, but I think it's because for a lot of other people, like when I see them put texture in their works, like that's the look they're going for. And whenever I try that with my own work, it just kind of looks like I did it by accident. And it's not my favorite thing to have my own work. So I try to take out the texture. And like I said, we're gonna put a few outward leaves on this tree as well, so we recognize it as a tree, and again, not just an amorphous mass. Oh, we have a speed paint redeem. All right. Uh, let me actually first, Boobot, let me ask you if it's okay if I defer that till towards the end of the stream, just so I can get this finished and then stretched, and then I can do your speed paint. Would that be all right? Some bitch. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. I appreciate that. We can do the same thing with this tree here. So we will defer that speed paint just for a little bit, just until I get through the lesson on how to stretch a canvas, and then we'll do the speed paint after that. Which the stretch in the canvas will come shortly because we're almost done this. There's only one more thing we have to do, and that is over here. Don't turn that. Just putting the top of this power. So let me just pull up my reference image real quick, which is an image from my hometown that I took years ago. where is it? Which folder is it in? That folder? Camera roll, iPhone, night references. Bingo. Okay. So fairly simple here. Nothing too fancy. Take the black paint that I already have. I'm gonna do a crossbar first. Like so. About that size, with a little bit of the pole sticking above it. There we go. Once we finish the details on this, we will do a final review, and then we'll get to actually putting this on a stretcher. Oh. I've got to turn raw food into dinner. Enjoy the rest of the stream. Hey, thank you, Elle. And of course, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Thank you for the lurk. I hope you enjoy your dinner. And feel free to come back and join us if you finish and you feel like watching a little bit more art. You're always welcome. Repping that wonderful emoji that you, or emote that you made for me. Emoji. DJ emojis are their own thing. Come on now. But always a pleasure to see you, Al. Enjoy your dinner. So, you might be wondering why some of this is a little bit lighter, and that's because that's a good roadmap of where I'm actually going to put a little bit of light from this street light. So, let's see. First, I'm gonna even out some of this black here, which is not gonna look like it's even to begin with, because it's gonna be wet. But once it dries, it'll even out the shade a little. That's what we're looking for. And we are going to add a little bit of white to our brush. Not a whole lot, just a little. And we're going to add a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow. Because this is a wooden pole. Just going to give this a little bit of a highlight. To reflect the light that's hitting it. Down here. Sorry if my head's in the way. Just like that, just very little. And then I'm going to grab some more white and just ever so slightly with a more grayish color kind of highlight part of the pole that is extending this. But only part of it. You don't need the whole thing. Just like so. Very, very light. Not a whole lot of paint on the brush. We're just kind of getting the idea that there's a pole that's actually attaching this light to this to the lamppost. Also going to try not to stick our hands right in what we did. Oh. Now, take a little bit of white. Once again, because this is metal here. Oh. And then while we have white on our brush, I'm going to get that brown color again. A bit more white. We're just going to add a few. Well, I need a little bit more white. Details to the top of this power pole as well to match what we did up here. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen and otherwise, I think that this is a completed paint. Well, completed. Like I said, there's a few areas I'm going to touch up, but I will grab the camera and show you all what this thing looks like before we stretch it. Oh, you can see my setup there. But there we go. That's our painting. Not too shabby, I think. And as you can see, there's all these leaves and details that we put in, so you can tell that there's a tree here in the foreground, and then these leaves back here. Then, of course, the power pole and the details there. I could put the power lines in, but honestly, the reflection on the power lines, it's not, and this is where you can kind of make your own decisions as an artist, which is kind of cool. I'm leaving those out because they cross the entire up here, and I want to keep this the way it is. Like, this looks nice the way it is. Having the lines across, even though it would be more realistic, because you'd see them here. And I might add, like, just little instances of, like, you could just see, like, the edge of them. But in terms of catching the light and all that, like, it just, it won't, it'll be detrimental, I think, to the entire piece. Because, like, this is the way this is supposed to look, I think. And I don't want to take away from that. Like, it would just be distracting. Yo, Squid, welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. And of course, like I did a video on Instagram, there's some details all the way back here that you won't really see from a distance, but you can kind of tell they're there from a distance. So, yeah, that is our piece. So, I'll put this camera back for now. I'll angle it down a bit. There we go. Put this cord out of the way. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to kind of rearrange the camera and get situated. And then I will show you all how you stretch this. And this one I'm going to get rid of the webcam box because we won't really need it. So just bear with me for a couple of minutes while I get that situated. And I will be right back, everybody. First, I'm going to get rid of this webcam box. There we go. All right, I will be back in just a minute, everybody. Stay tuned. All right, I think I figured it out. Let's see. Yeah, I think this angle will work. Let's just move this way a bit more. Okay, so we are going to stretch this canvas on this. Okay, let me angle this up a bit more. There we go. All right, so yeah, we're gonna stretch this painting on this stretcher here. I just built this just earlier today. The corners, honestly, this is just really cheap pine. It's strong enough, but just cheap pine, and the corners are just wood glue and staples on both sides. Not the best way to join corners in a frame, but honestly, this painting isn't taking on too much of a load. I'm not worried about it. Like the canvas isn't very heavy. What we're doing to it isn't super heavy duty, so I'm pretty okay with it being like that. So let's get the tools that we need. Which are yes. So we got staples. A staple gun. And there it is. We're not actually going to use this, but I'm showing it for posterity's sake. A canvas gripper. But we're not going to use this, and I'll explain why. It's just a personal preference thing, but I will explain why. So, first things first. Oh, we also need a pencil. Need a better pencil than that. There we go. Pencil. All right. So, first things first, taking the painting off the wall. Now, ideally, if you're going to be stretching a canvas, ideally, whether it's a painting that has paint on it or not, ideally, you want to have like a mat down or something like that. I don't. Well, I have this carpet, right? But you also don't really need it. It just helps protect the face of the painting a little bit more. But as you'll see, you don't really need all that much protection if you're being careful with it, right? So we have our face of the painting facing up to begin with, because what we're going to do is we are going to, and for this I'm gonna actually angle the camera a bit down, because you don't really need to see my face for this, but you do need to see what we're doing. Good. So we got our face of the painting down, and we're going to put our frame or our stretcher right over top. And the reason we're doing this is because basically each of these corners we're going to flip up, and we're going to mark where the corner is. This is just a tip that I learned just not too long ago, actually. We're going to flip the corners up and mark on the back of the canvas where the corners are, so that we can put this exactly the way we want it once we actually flip the painting on its face. So, and put that right about there. So, where's our pencil? So, I'm going to flip this corner up and just mark on the back of the canvas where the corner is. Just roughly, doesn't have to be exact, you're just kind of landmarking it. Also, let me know if you can hear me okay, because I'm a bit away from the laptop right now, and it's my laptop mic that's picking me up. So, I said we're gonna just bend the corner up, mark roughly where the corner of the canvas or where the stretcher is, and this doesn't have to be super exact, but now we have markings on the back. I'm good. Thank you, Buddhabot. I appreciate it. How are we doing for time? We're actually doing good for time. Okay. So we will now flip this over on its face. And this is the scariest part, but I promise you it'll be all right. The one thing you want to make sure is that your painting is dry. That's the number one thing. And you can see here, we have little markings in all the corners. So now we can just put this and match it up with the corners. And it'll be perfect. Now, when it comes to the stretcher, if you're building it, you might be wondering, okay, which side do I put the painting on, right? This side or the opposite side? And the truth is, it doesn't really matter. You may want to put, I will say this, you want to put the smoother side. If you have any sort of raised edges or anything, you want to put that side opposite the face of the painting. Because on the face of the painting, if you have any ridges or anything on the front, they can show up, if you stretch it tight enough, they can show up on the face of the painting, so you'll see the ridges. So I would say put the rougher side facing up. But it's also not a super hard and fast rule. It's your painting, you can do whatever you like. We're just gonna match this up as best as we can. And on this painting, I left plenty of room for I left plenty of room on the edge so that we won't have to paint in an edge. Well, maybe we will, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So once you got this figured where you want it, and I think I want mine right up there. Maybe if I flip it this way, it'll match it a little more. Also, canvas is very, very good for like the backside of the canvas, because it is fabric. It's really good at picking up any sort of hair or anything that you have on the floor. So you can tell whether you need to vacuum or not, or sweep. And I do. I definitely do. No, I think it was better this way. I like how I said this doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm trying to make it perfect because that's how I am. Even though I definitely don't need to. That's close enough. Okay. So, the first thing you want to do, oh, also I will give a warning to any of you who are listening in headphones. This might come across a little loud because we're using a staple gun. Okay, so you might want to put it on your regular speakers or turn your volume way down. I myself, in fact, where did my headphones go? Oh, I think I left them on the dining room table. I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab my headphones because I'm going to need headphones for this. I'll be right back. Told you I'd be back. So I will say this, yes, hearing protection is key. If you are using a staple gun in an enclosed room, please, whether it's earbuds, preferably with not loud music blasting out of them, or headphones or earmuffs or earplugs, please put them in your ear. This isn't even going to be attached to anything. They're just because the sound is going to be very echoey, very resonant, and I don't want anybody damaging their hearing. So, when you're getting ready to stretch a canvas, what you want to do is you want to stretch the long side first, right? We're only doing one staple. So, just pick up the edge right here, kind of pull it tight, but not super, you don't have to pull this one super tight. We're just going to put in a staple. Then you're going to go to the opposite side and do the same thing. But this time, and I'm going to just kind of landmark this, make sure it is where I want it. And yep, that works, that works. This time, you are going to pull super tight to the point where you actually see a ridge down the center of the painting. Like so. So, we've got the tension that we want across. Now, we're going to put one staple in on each of the ends. Again, pulling tight. I'm going to move this just a little bit so that I don't have to be right in front of the camera. Just like so. So now, what I tend to do is on the long ends, I'll go to the left or the right, and then I will do the opposite thing on the opposite side. You don't even hear the stapler? Okay, good, because it's very loud for me, and I still have the I have my earbuds in, so I'm glad that you can't even hear it. So I'll just show you what I mean. I'm gonna flip this way, just so that I don't have to keep moving back and forth. So I'll pull it tight, and you want to go, I would say, I usually leave like 2 to 3 inches in between each stapler. Depends on how big the canvas is. For this, I'll probably leave about 2 inches in between each staple. And we'll just go that way. Now, this is a canvas puller. And what this is supposed to do is it's supposed to save your hands. Because you're pulling with your thumbs, right? It's supposed to save your hands. I find that this thing, because of the grip on it, hurts my hands more than actually just pulling the canvas. But I'll show you what you do. You basically just grip the canvas, and then you basically just pull. It's actually a little bit easier I find if you go this way, pull this way, and then put a staple in with your opposite hand. But you can also kind of anchor it this way and just pull away from you. But I don't use these because they hurt my hands more than actually pulling the canvas. But your mileage may vary. Everybody's different. So just going to go down like so, pulling as tight as we can. Until you get about, I would say for this size of canvas, which is this is 2 feet by 3 feet. I would say until you get about 3 inches from the edge, and then we're going to stop. Now, we'll go here. Now there's some, and I think I referenced this earlier because this is how I used to do it. There's some who will start here and then go to the opposite edge and then go there and come this way like an X. You can do that if you want. I find it easier just to stay on one side, finish one side, and then move to the opposite side. afterwards. You never want to stretch this, and then this, and then that, and then that, because that's going to be a very uneven stretch. You always want to do the opposite sides first, and ideally, because we went to the right first, when you move over to the other side, you want to start with the right side first, and then move to the left. Ideally. We're going to use about the same amount of spacing. Now, we're actually stapling on the back. There are some people who staple on the edge. And as a matter of fact, stapling on the back is what's called, I think, gallery facing, which is you don't have the staples visible at all, because the back side, and this will be hanging up against the wall. There are some people who feel you get a better stretch, you get better tension if you staple on the actual edge. I'm not one of those people. I don't think it really matters. Just me, looks wise, I like having the staples on the back better. But that's me. Once again, your mileage may vary. Okay. So we're gonna move over to the opposite edge. And we can do the same thing, starting going right and then to the left, just like we did on the other side. As tightly as we can. Just like so. This is hard work. This is sweaty work. I ain't gonna lie to you. Just gonna give my hand a break for a second. Because it's usually pretty rough on my left thumb, because that's what's creating a lot of the tension. But I will say, in addition to the strength training that I do, if you want to get like good veiny hands, stretch paintings. That'll get your vascularity up for sure. There we go. All right. So I'm going to flip it back the right way, around. And we're going to have this edge toward me, because now we're going to do the same thing on this edge. Oh. And take a break for a second. I'm going to stand up, stretch my legs. That's another thing too. When you're doing this, make sure you're wearing comfortable clothes. Like, try not to stretch a canvas in a suit and a tie. One thing you can also do is you can also stretch standing and pulling down. I've seen people do that before. But again, it's really up to you. But I'll kind of show what that looks like. You basically stand the painting up and you pull down, and then you put the staple gun in there. You can do that if you want. But I tend not to. All right. So just like the other ones, we're going to go to the right and left first, and that's just my own preference. You can go to the left first if you want. And of course, the shorter end will take less staples. My apologies to my wife and my friends downstairs. My wife's down there working out with them. Probably just an ungodly amount of noise from up here. Yeah, that's about as close to that edge as I want to get for now. Oh, maybe one more. No, don't need it. And we do the same thing on our last edge. I will say, as much as I like the physical work of doing this, if I ever made it famous as an artist, this is the one job that I would that I would hire out. I would pay somebody to stretch the canvases for me. And I would give them full credit. Their name would be displayed in like a special text because they stretch all this. Sort of like when I did the quiet part out loud, and I did the thank yous before, because my friends helped me build the stretchers for that show, so I had to give them credit. Yeah, I can't stand it when artists don't give credit to people who help them out with things. Can't stand it. Okay, so that's everything stretched except for the corners. But before we do the corners, what I want to do, you see I'm dripping sweat there. I want to grab a pair of scissors and I want to actually trim this. And that'll be important in just a second, like why I do that. So I will be right back again. I'm going to grab some scissors. If I was a more prepared person, I would have grabbed scissors already, but I'm not. So I will be right back. Oh, I can give myself very much room here. All right, we're back. Also, if you all have any questions about this whole process, please feel free to ask. So I'm basically just going to trim some of this excess. Also, if you get sweat on the back of the canvas, don't you worry. See, sometimes what will happen, whether you didn't stretch it enough or sometimes the weather, like the temperature of the air, will do it. Sometimes you'll actually get wrinkles and stuff in the front of your painting and on the edges. And one of the ways to alleviate that, believe it or not, is by spraying the back of the canvas lightly with water, and then applying heat to it, either with an iron or a hair dryer or a space heater, or sometimes just leaving it out in the sun, sometimes just leaving it in a hot, dry room. And the reason that happens is because canvas is fabric. That's all it is. It's just a fabric. And it will tighten up if it gets a little bit wet and that is dry. And that's the way you can get wrinkles out of your paintings. Now, the first step to getting rid of wrinkles in your painting is just to stretch it very tightly from the get-go. But barring that, if over time you notice it is starting to loosen, because that will happen too. If you notice it's starting to loosen, you can just spray it with a little bit of water. You can also spray it with some water and put heavy books on it or something heavy evenly. And that will also get out wrinkles. So basically what we're going to do here is we're just going to do some trimming. being very careful not to put the scissors through the front of the painting, which is what is called the face, the actual part with the paint on it. So I try to cut this above the actual stretcher itself. That way the only thing it's going to be hitting is the wood. In this one, you don't have to do like the opposite sides and whatever. You can do whatever side. But you do want to leave just enough material on the edges or on the corners so you can actually stretch the corners, which will be the last step. And in my opinion, the hardest step technically is it can be kind of like learning how to moonwalk or whistle or ride a bike. It's one of those things where once you learn it, it'll always stick with you, but it's a little difficult to wrap your head around at the beginning. I remember I did one stretching tutorial years ago, like when I first started streaming, with a big old 6-foot canvas. 6 foot by 4 foot. That was a lot of fun, but man, was that room cramped. But with a 6-foot canvas, you're going to be cramped in just about any room. And what's nice about cutting this beforehand is, or what's nice about cutting this afterwards is because you can cut all this trim off beforehand, but you have less to actually grip onto. You want to have a bunch of stuff to grip onto to actually stretch the painting. And when you're cutting it after, these staples act as kind of an anchor so you don't actually accidentally take off too much. Because if you go too far, you end up just hitting the staples, like where the staples are. And you're like, okay, I can't take off much more than that. And last one. Last edge. Of course, you could just stick to a drawing. Then you don't got to worry about any of this. But I decided not to do that. It's weird to think for the longest time I didn't even like painting. Like when I was in high school and stuff, I hated painting. And now it's one of my favorites. I still got to give the edge to charcoal drawing because that was my first. That was the first art form that, as a university student who was kind of getting fed up with his first year of art school, I was getting discouraged. And then in my second year, my professor introduced us to charcoal drawing, and that was a godsend. That's what I fell in love with. Oh, just because I dripped some more sweat. My point is, with all that water stuff I was talking about, if you get a few drops of sweat on the back of your canvas, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now we have a fully stretched painting. Now we just have to get these pesky corners done. And I'm actually going to set up my chair here and move the camera up a bit to show you how to do the corners. Like I said, this is one of those things where it takes practice and it takes a certain kind of knack to it, and there's also multiple different ways to do corners. But the way I like to do them is basically you kind of pinch here. How do I show this? Because the important thing is the edge, right? So you pinch here, you get a nice straight edge, nice straight line. then you fold to get a nice crisp triangle here. Then on the back, you'll notice it kind of starting to bunch up here. You just fold this back so that it looks like a straight line, okay? Let's see if I can get close to the camera to show that. And let me, is the camera gonna let me zoom in? There we go. Okay, so that process again, with this zoomed in on the corner, is you have this loose material here. You pinch it together like that. So you get a nice straight edge there, right? Pinch it together. You fold over, okay, so that you get that nice triangle shape. And then on the back, once you get that triangle shape, you just simply fold this back, just like that. Now you've got a nice clean corner. Now there are ways to do this where this is actually underneath, like this edge here is actually underneath the canvas that's there. I don't really know how to do that all that well. You can also do a kind of fold where the entire edge of the painting is kind of like an L shape. Again, I don't really know how to do that all that well, that consistently. But this I know how to do consistently. So we'll grab our staple. And we just staple this back into place. Trying our best not to let any of this be seen from the front of the painting, or sorry, from this. And we just put one here, and maybe one here. And there is a finished corner. Now we just got to do that 3 more times. And whatever you do on this side, try to keep your corners consistent. Try to make them the same way. So on this side, same thing. We kind of pinch to make a straight line, fold it over like so, and then fold it back. Just like that. So again, we make a straight line from the front of the canvas straight back like that. Fold down and keep it tight. Kind of crease it and fold it back like that. And then just staple it into place. There we go. That's 2 corners down. Now we're going to do these the same way. This is why you want to make sure that you leave enough material in the corners. Actually do this. So again, straight line, fold it over to get the triangle shape. You need a little bit more. And you might notice, just like back here, the paint kind of cracks a little, but that's okay because acrylic paint is plastic. Oil paint will do the same thing. Oil paint might be a little more pliable, but you can just touch that up afterwards. It doesn't affect the integrity of the face of the painting at all. And honestly, you don't have to touch it up because it's the back of the painting. The corner won't tear. The corner will tear eventually, like years down the road. But that will happen even on pre-stretched canvases that you buy from the store. Just because, you know, time under tension, that's what happens. But it won't tear like that if you do it right and you secure it enough. It won't tear for years upon years upon years. And if it does start to tear, there are multiple different ways to fix it. What I've even seen people do, because again, this is fabric, you can actually sew more canvas onto existing canvas. You can actually do that and then kind of like repaint it and touch it up. That's what conservators do sometimes. If like corners or edges are unsalvageable. So it will eventually tear, but not like, unless you do it wrong, not in any sort of immediate or even median future. Like it takes a long time. Like the painting that's going to be going along with this that I did in 2016, the edges, the corners on that, and I didn't even stretch that one. That was a store-bought canvas. The edges on that are starting to fray a little bit. But even if they start fraying, you can just paint them and like repaint them, and it'll buy you a little more time. But oh, I'm out of. No, I'm not out of staples. I thought I was out of staples. Okay, there we go. And there is our painting. Oh, let me zoom this out. There is our painting completely stretched. Looking pretty good. Now, there might be a little bit of dust or something on the front. That's okay. You can just brush it off. You're not going to hurt the painting at all. If you want to use like a rag or something, just a dry rag to brush it off, that also works. There is a tiny bit of a ripple here, but again, that will be taken care of with just a little bit of water. You know what would make a crazy good painting? One of the main bridge in my town. Oh yes, yes, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. That would be a good painting. So what I will do eventually, and I'm not going to do it now because it's a little. There's a tiny bit of a ripple on this edge. I just didn't pull hard enough. But I will just take a spray bottle, spray that with water, and then just. I might not even have to blow dry this one. I'll just leave it like near like a register or something, and just let it tighten up on its own. But yeah, there we go. Oh, there is one more step that I will show you because this is important. This is an important step. So let me lean that there. I need some needle nose pliers. Five minutes. I need to put some weights or something on the bottom of that lamp because it likes to get knocked to kilter. Okay, what we need to do now is put a wire on the back of this so we can actually hang it. So let me see where my wire is. And to grab my drill too. Ah, that stuff all over the place. This isn't a super big room, so sometimes I have to move stuff out of the way to actually get things where I need them. Like to showcase this. Now, you don't need a drill for this. If you've got a screwdriver, just my drill is in here. I do need the right bit though. And I can get rid of my headphones because we're not stapling anymore. So I don't need ear protection. But yeah, Buddhabot, that would be an amazing painting. Actually, having a painting of like either one of the bridges too would be great. Maybe I'll do that someday. when we come down to visit. I'll do some plein air. Just sit outside and paint it. All right. So I'm just going to change the drill bit here. Because I'm going to show you how to put the wire on a painting as well. So I have these little clamps, these little loops here, these little hooks that we just need to drill into the back. Now there's all sorts of things you can do. You can do alligator clips, you can do sawtooth clips, which I think are those are the same thing. But you can do those. You can do little like ring eyelets, whatever it is that you have at your disposal to actually put the. You can see a little bit more on my face. Whatever it is that you need to do to actually put the. If you want to put a wire, I would recommend these. They're very handy. So just put this here. And generally, I like to put them about 6 inches down from the top of the painting. I guess I do need to angle this down some more. That's where I'm putting it. There we go. And then, of course, each of these comes with a screw. So again, if screwdriver noises are a bit too much for you sensory-wise, please feel free to mute the video or anything like that. Now, ideally, I would be doing this flat, but I'm already sitting here, so I'm just going to do it here. Also, make sure you're doing this on the top of the painting or near the top of the painting. Otherwise, it's going to be very annoying. I'll do this one first. Now, these don't have to be equidistant on both sides in terms of like how low you put them. They don't have to be. Oh. Okay, maybe it is easier if I put this on the ground and do it. All right, to the ground we go. And I'll bring you all down with me. Yeah, this will be easier. I should have just done this in the first place. And these clips I just found in my local, I think it was at Home Depot. We just want to make like a little pilot hole, and then you just drill it in, just like so. And we do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll get to the fun part, which is actually stringing the wire. And then after this, we sign it, and then I get to do the speed paint for Buddhabot. There we go. So now we got, now we'll move back up. Now we've got these in place. We can grab our spool of wire. And this is where I use the needle nose pliers because my needle nose pliers have a little wire cutter mechanism in there. That's proved very handy over the years. And basically, there we go. You want to get enough wire to, of course, stretch a pot across, but you also want some a little bit of slack in it. So you want to go a little bit further than, where's the end of it? There's one end of it. There we go. So you just take the wire, and what I do is I leave about 1.5 inches on both sides, and then add probably another 1/2 inch. So I leave about 1.5 inches to actually spool it around the hook, and then stretch it across, making sure that this hand is at another like 1.5 inches away from the other hook. And then I add another 1/2 inch just to have a little bit more slack. So yeah. Try not to let go of it while you're holding it. That'll work right about here. And then you just snip the wire. And this wire I just got at some craft supply store. I don't think it was Michael's, it might have been Curry's, but you can also get them at art supply stores. Just regular, just everyday run-of-the-mill wire. But it works. Now I'll put that away. One thing that I find is really helpful for keeping my studio as neat as it is actually adopting the mantra of putting stuff away, not just down. So I try as best as I can to actually put it down. So let me show you what I'm doing. And for this, I'll probably have to angle this down some more. Yeah. So what we're going to do here is we've looped the wire around the hook, right? Let's see if I can zoom in some more again. So we've looped the wire around the hook like so. And now, because this wire is pliable, we're going to just kind of loop it up like so. So it's sticking straight up. And then we're going to immediately force it down so that it kind of like grips around itself like that. Right? So you see that little loop there? And now we're just going to loop the wire around itself just like so that it actually attaches itself and stays in place just like that. And this little bit at the end, because you don't want to like kill your fingers, you can use your pliers to just kind of maneuver it into place. This first one's not too hard to actually put in place. It's the second one that's harder, because with this first one, the other side's not attached. But with the other side, this first side will be attached, so you have a little less room to play around. And there we go. Now, if you are displaying this in a gallery, and they say that they want wire and not any sort of hooks, like sawtooth hooks like these, like they don't want these. They want wire. Best practice is once you're done, get some masking tape or some painter's tape. And try not to have it tear on you prematurely. But grab some of that tape, and on that piece of wire that you looped all around, because there will be a little bit of a sharp edge still, you just tape around it so that the people responsible for handling the art, the people who are hanging the art, anybody who might be handling it won't accidentally poke themselves with the wire. That's best practice. Just like so. Now, if you're just hanging stuff at home, you don't got to worry about doing this if you don't want to. But if your painting is going to be in a gallery setting, it's a good idea to do that so that nobody accidentally pokes themselves with just gonna cut this a little shorter. Let me put it right here. There we go. And also try not to poke a hole. And I'm not saying this because I have experience doing it or anything. But try not to poke a hole in your canvas while you're putting the wire on. I've definitely never done anything like that and then had to patch the painting after the fact. Never. So again, well, raise just a little bit. You've got looped in to the hook, put this end up, straight up, so that it can start coiling, and then you just start coiling it around itself, just like so. And this one I'll actually show up close before I actually put the tape on it. And you can do as tight a coil or as loose a coil as you want, just as long as it's coiled tight enough to actually make sure that it's not going to let go. Just like that. See how it's coiled around? And now we just take some tape and put it around. Now this is hanging in our house, but I'm just showing you guys how to do it. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing this, because if I poke myself with my own wire, that's on me. All right, and like I said, let me actually get up and show this. There is our completed painting. Front and back, looking all nice. And the edges are looking pretty nice too. I might do a few touch-ups here, just put in some black paint just to even that out. But yeah, there's our painting. Also, you don't have to paint your edges if you don't want to. I just like to with stuff like this. So now all we got to do is we got to sign it. There is my Sharpie. There we go. Just gonna sign down here. Here, y'all come with me. Got some Sharpie on my oh, the Sharpie is not. You know what? I'm going to paint over that and sign it again, because that Sharpie is not doing it for me. Because it's hanging in my house, I might actually just sign it with a what do you call it? A white charcoal pencil. But we're just gonna paint over that. That signature was not turning out the way I wanted it to. So, signing it will actually be the last thing we do. While we're waiting for this to dry, I think it's a perfect opportunity. And I'm just using my finger here because that'll blend it in nicely. This would be the perfect opportunity to do Buddhabot speed paint, I think. So put this off to the side. Now grab a piece of paper and we'll do ourselves a speed paint. What do y'all say? While we're middle of that, let me just reorient myself to the configuration I was in before, so we can do the speed paint. So let me, I've got paint all over my hands now, of course. Let me just put up the be right back screen, and then we'll do the speed paint right after that. So I'll just be a minute just to get everything back the way it was. So stay tuned, everyone. All right, here we go. There we are. Stop shaping. There we go. Where's my webcam box? Well, there's my webcam. There's the box. Okay. So, I'm gonna try and situate this so that I won't be like right in front of the camera. I think that'll be just about as good as we can do. All right. So, Budabot, what would you like for a painting? I'm gonna put a 10-minute timer on. I know I think the command says 5 minutes, but I'm gonna give myself some leeway because it's been a while since I've done a actual speed paint. Maybe something Budabot related. Hmm. Oh, welcome back, El. Actually, we're just doing the speed paint now, but I will show the painting again once the speed paint's done. I'm just setting up the timer. Yay, speed paint. All right, so what's Budabot related? Good question. So let's go to 7 or 1949. Oh, and the date today is 04. Oh, I just realized what I did. Shoot. Oh my God, come on. 49. Uh, Yay, speed paint. Yeah, I just gotta get my timer together. There, okay, there's the timer. Okay. 5 minutes. There we go. Okay, so what's Budabot related? Well, I know there's like a bunch of fantasy stuff. There's like a was it StarCraft that you've played? I think the prompt says, "Oh, that's right. Yes, you're right. You're right." And I even said myself I was going to make it 10 minutes. There we go. Okay. Ah, can this timer please just do what I want it to do? Okay. Well, I could do something Star Wars related. Um, or I don't know. Well, we mentioned it before. What if I did a what if I did a speed paint of the bridge? Unless you want something a little more personal. Sure. All right. Now I will have to bring up a reference image for that, but I will actually. This will probably work in portrait as well. My paint rag. There it is. Okay, so we will do a speed paint of the bridge. Lots of references online, I'm sure. Oh yeah, most definitely. So let me just look one up. That's a nice picture of it. Yeah, that's a that's a nice picture. Okay. Let me just off to the side. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Okay. Get my paintbrush together. Because first things first, I gotta lay in the water. Okay. This reference image is on Flickr. I haven't thought about Flickr in ages. Oh no, color picker blue. All right. We're gonna be using shades of blue. Oh, all right. With a little bit of black and white when we need it, naturally. Just water in there. There we go. Force of sketch day vibes, yeah. All right. We'll use a different brush, believe it or not, to actually start sketching out this bridge. Okay. This isn't going to be the straightest line, but that's okay. Paint on my brush. Maybe this is the better brush to use. Come to think of it. Yeah, that's a better brush to use. Okay. Now, that there. That there. Not the perfect brush, but it'll do the trick. Let me just come straight down. Yeah. This other side. Oh, a little too high, but that's okay. One day, I swear, I'll do a painting that actually does this bridge justice. Beating through this now. Down here, I keep the bridge where it's supposed to be. Okay. Now, to put all these cross beams and stuff in using a blue-gray. One, two, three, four, five. So. All of those across this way. Okay. There's that. And then there's all sorts of crosses in here. Oh man, this is a bit of a beautiful mess. But that's all right. Got a minute to go. All right, final minute. I'm just gonna do some. wispy clouds here. And just a few highlights in the water here. Bit of a reflection. All right, there we go. There's our speed paint of this bridge. Hopefully, I did it justice. But there you go, Buddhabot. Thank you for the redeem, and thank you, Elle, for making the redeem even more challenging by picking the color blue, which I think worked pretty well. Thank you, Elle. I appreciate that. So, what we will do with this is we'll put this aside, and then I will do our little outro while showing the two paintings. So, well, actually, first I gotta paint. I gotta sign it. I gotta sign the painting first, and then I will hang the two paintings up side by side. And then show you all what they look like side by side. Once I put my paint away. Oh, no. I am doing nothing but getting paint all over myself. That's fun. Paint washes off. Gotta have the Siggy to make that bread. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That there. And we'll put this one over here. All right. So first things first is moving this camera up and back. Tightening it. We're gonna tighten. Maybe if I was turning it the right way. And put the weight fat on this so it doesn't topple over. So, stop shaking. And first, we have the new painting, which will hang on this one here. I don't think it actually caught the wire. There we go. Painting. Which we will sign with my charcoal pencil. Where's my charcoal pencil? Because the Sharpie I was using before did not work whatsoever. Where's my white? There it is. Okay. $2024-04-04. Hey, I'm gonna get this just in time for my wife's birthday tomorrow. And painting number 2, right beside it. Oh, did I take the wire off of this? I did take the wire off of this. Why did I do that? Okay. We will improvise by putting an alligator or a sawtooth clip on it and just stapling it to the. Because we are nothing if we can't improvise. Well, we gotta put the clip on the right way first. Ah, perfect. There we go. That's not gonna go anywhere. There we go. There's our 2 paintings side by side. This first one, 2017 0624, 2024 0404. But there we are. I think that turned out pretty well. Yeah. Not bad. Not too bad at all. Thank you, Elle. Thank you, Buddhabot. I appreciate it. All right, y'all. That's about gonna do it. I think. Ah, so nice to hang your own work for someone in your house who loves it. Oh yeah, most definitely. Stop shaking. What's nice too is I can see the improvement for myself. Um, over the last 27. That was 7. I did the first one 7 years ago. Yeesh. Wow. 7 years ago. Well, 6 years and 10 months ago. But still. That's how math works, sadly. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's not so much the math that bothers me, it's just the passage of time. I mean, it doesn't feel like 7 years ago. But hey, whatever. You're looking at 7 years of painting improvement, maybe? But yeah, not too bad, not too bad. The first one's also good. So there we go. Well, thank you very much for hanging out, everybody. Really appreciate you all being here. Some thank yous before we head out. Jess Draws Ducks, thank you very much again for the raid. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciate you sharing your community with me, trusting your community with me. It means a lot. JM Arclight, thank you very much for the follow. Buddhabot, thank you very much for the glug glug, which I'm going to take another one of those. Thirsty. But thank you very much for the speed paint redeem and for the glug glug. Yeah, I'll also hold this up too. Because and for the actual like phone holder so that I could here, I'll hold it this way. So that I can actually, film all of this. Makes it much easier. And then Elle, thank you very much for the color picker for this piece, because I think the blue fits very, very well. This was the speed paint, of course. So yeah, thank you all for coming out. Really do appreciate y'all. Let's see. Who's on? If I could get to my browser, that'd be great. Well, there's a lot of people on. Oh, thank you, Buddhabot. I appreciate it. We're gonna go say hi to Base Windu because he was in here earlier, and he was very nice to come in and say hello. So we're gonna go say hello back. Playing Fall Guys, of course. The best Fall Guys player I've ever seen. My goodness. Base Windu. There we go. So we're gonna go say hi to him because he's a good dude, and you know we say hello to our friends. Um, Also, none of my art friends are on right now. So that's what we're gonna do. Um, but yeah, thank you all for coming in once again. Really do appreciate all y'all. Um, Next stream is going to be on Sunday, possibly Sunday morning. This time there's actually going to be a stream. We're going to be back to playing Celeste, and then following that, Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Once again, we're going to be doing something related to uh, the exhibition that I'm putting together. So stay tuned for that next Monday, and then next Tuesday will be Paper Mario again at 4:15 p.m. or so, and then Thursday we'll be doing some more art. So thank you all for coming in. Hopefully we'll see you Sunday. If not, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and thanks for dropping by. Take it easy, y'all. And Elle, thank you for coming in the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. All right, take it easy, y'all. Oh, excuse me. Let me not end that on a burp. Take it easy, y'all.